More I could say, but it wouldn't be polite.
If he snored at night, he'd snore sprint car sounds.
Stand on the gas, and I think he loves a good time too.
The balls over brains attitude, I think. Give it shit.
Where he just forgot that there was a corner.
Crashing his brains out and have to fix car.
You're never going to win unless you want it bad enough.
Don't let their looks deceive you. This bunch of guys are deadly serious about sprint car racing, and they have the results to prove it. In fact, Duff Motorsport is the most successful sprint car team to come out of Ruapuna Speedway. It has won numerous features, championships and titles. Led by Steve Duff Sr., he's serious about the team and has been involved in the sport for almost 40 years.
I love Speedway and I don't mind putting a bit of money in. A lot of guys have yachts, batches. I don't have any of that, you know. My Speedway team is my passion, you know, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I still love the sport, still feel very strongly about sprint cars.
But why sprint cars?
It's just a very raw, honest sport. I mean, the cars have got no electronics on them, power to weight ratio of a Formula 1 car, 100 miles an hour into the turns, and there's quite a lot of driver skill involved with driving them properly, you know. You know, the ability to go down the straight at 100 miles an hour and more or less roll the car into the corner, where a lot of the guys who aren't doing as well tend to chuck it at the corner, use the wing like a big air brake and slow the car up. It takes a lot of bravery and a lot of faith in the car to roll it into the corner without slowing it up too much, which is where a lot of the corner speed comes from.
Their number one driver is Jamie Duff. He's fast, smooth and a local sprint car star. He struck gold early in his career and took out the New Zealand Sprint Car Championship in 2015.
One of the greatest experiences of my life. Just standing there dumbfounded, didn't quite believe it at the time, and looking back, it's something really special.
So what is it that the Duff man enjoys about sprint car racing?
The speed, the adrenaline rush, the freedom when you're out there. There's no one else out there to tell you what to do other than referees.
The Duff Motorsport number 2 driver is younger brother Steve Jr. He's fearless, bordering on the reckless, and has an attitude similar to 70s F1 star James Hunt.
Now, James, they've changed the regulations concerning the airboxes and the wings, and yet you're still extremely fast. How do you do it?
Big balls.
So why do they call Steve Jr. the gas man?
The balls over brains attitude, I think. Give it shit.
While he's exciting to watch, Junior has had his fair share of learning experiences.
I'd have to say Western Springs 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a big learning experience. I just came out of the corner and didn't straighten up quick enough and ran a wheel and just did a few rolls down the straight.
Next member on the team is Big Jeff. He's been around forever and has seen 2 generations of racer at Duff Motorsport.
Helped Steve out while he was racing, and then Steve came and seen me and said, you're interested in moving on and helping Jamie out, and I've been with Jamie since the day he started.
With 20 years in the game turning spanners, what's the thrill for Big Jeff?
You work on the car and you work on setups and that, and then you go out and see Jamie drive it and do things in the car that you think can't be done, and it's quite a thrill for the whole team to see the driver go well.
Next up, Cameron Cairns, aka Lumpy Cam. He's another crewman who's been around for a while.
I think I've been around sprint cars 18 years now, so I don't see it stopping anytime soon. You know, every year things change, cars develop, technology changes, and it's just, you know, what are we going to do next to go faster?
So what's it like working for the very successful Duff Motorsport team under Steve Sr.?
Hard, but you know, fair. You know exactly where you stand with them all the time. I think, you know, if he snored at night, he'd snore sprint car sounds. He just absolutely loves racing. You know, everything's about racing. So, and he drives us to be the best we can, and we, you know, do our best to be there.
Slim. He's been around for a number of years, brings a great attitude, and helps the team out where he can.
My name's Slim. That's all it is. That's what I'm called. That's what it is. My role in the team is just basically general body, do as I'm told. Yeah.
And finally, Smooth Can. He's the latest addition to the team and works well under all conditions.
Started late last year, and yeah, just love it. So,
what do you make of it all?
Good. Love the stress. Love when it goes well, but it's a little bit of fun when it goes bad too.
So that's some of the team. They live for sprint car racing, give up their summers chasing dirt, and wouldn't have it any other way. But why is the team so successful?
They're pretty passionate about what they do. They don't like coming second, which I think's, you know, it's not that they're bad sportsmen. They, you know, they don't skite, they don't sulk, but you know, you're never going to win unless you want it bad enough. So they definitely want to go out there and prove themselves, which is nice, and they're both reasonably talented, which I'm lucky with.
We've been doing it so long, there's a lot of research goes into the cars, and me and Jamie bounce ideas off each other for driving styles, and it just works for the best.
Pretty much if he goes out and then doesn't drive the car hard, he knows about it because we tell him.
I was never shy about passing, and you want to be a race car driver, be a race car driver, but you give it 10 attempts. You can never tell your kids to win races because that's not fair, but you can certainly tell them to give it 10 attempts.
So the team has the right attitude, and the New Zealand Sprint Car title is happening at Ruapuna Speedway this season. What are the chances of Duff Motorsport?
It's our home track, New Zealand champs. I think Stephen is an unknown quantity this year. I don't know how he's going to go, but we've made a big effort with his car and his head. Jamie, there's 4 guys in New Zealand I consider that are slightly better than Jamie. Not better, that's the wrong word. Slightly faster because they race each other every week at Western Springs. We were going to go up there and race with them to get our intensity level up, which is all we had to do. COVID's changed with that. They might have to come down here now, but home track advantage, if we can get him, he's got to the point where he's reasonably dominant here, and he'll cruise around for a couple of laps, look at the track, then decide to go. If he's got these 4 guys here, he won't have that luxury. He'll have to pull the trigger hard and go hard, or we won't get anywhere. So we'll be working on that this season heading into the New Zealand Champs.
So come February 5th and 6th at Ruapuna Speedway, fans of Duff Motorsport will be cheering and supporting both Jamie and Steve to a podium in the New Zealand Sprint Car Championship.